Beyond the Demi Castle, and here's your instant match reaction to Everton 0, Bournemouth 2, the Blues out the FA Cup. Albeit not without the want of trying. I'm joined by Les Roberts. I've got Dave with us as well. And Matt Flusk is currently playing darts, but he might join us shortly to give us his thoughts on that game. Les, I'll come to you first. I'm gutted we're out, but I can't really murder them too much today, I think. Overall, we did okay first half, barring a couple of bad individual mistakes from James Tarkowski. Second half did a really good go, hit the post 3 times. Just one of them, was it?
I think it was, yeah. I think that's fair. It's to go back to a Roberto Martinezism, I think he said that anyway. It's a game of fine margins, and we were on the wrong end of him. I mean, Tarkowski had his worst game since Moyes has been here today. He went back to early season brain fart Tarkowski there, and essentially his mistakes have cost us. Like you say, you can't go in too hard on the team, because I think that's the 3rd game this season where, got to say, a high-flying Bournemouth, because they're a good side and doing really well this season, but 3 games we played against them this season, and in not one of those games have we looked however many places below. They've all been very, very even games, really. And it was just unlucky. I'd say it's hard to go in on them, but it's just dead frustrating, because that was there to be won, and bar like the couple of mistakes were in there.
Yeah, for me, it was a sad day. Last FA Cup game at Goodison Park, and I feel a little bit that they let themselves down, sell themselves short. It was, I agree with what Les was saying. It was a game of fine margins, but there were some absolute stinking performances, especially in that first half as well. Very, very, very disappointed with James Tarkowski, and even though it happened about 25 metres in front of where I was sat, I still don't know how the hell they scored that second goal. Absolutely blew my mind. And I said to my son Tom, who I was with today, I went, how did that even go in? I don't even know who scored it. Was it an own goal?
Jefferson?
Was it not?
Yeah, well,
Jefferson? I've never heard of him.
Just on that, a bit of advice. If you ever see Daniel Jefferson's name on the team sheet again against Everton, just do the Abe Simpson meme and just don't go. Just about turn and don't go the game.
Is that only his 2nd ever goal?
As well, his 2nd ever goal at this level, I'm pretty sure it is. To at top flight level, because I think from Sheffield United he went on loan somewhere else to a lower division, and I don't know how he's ended up at Bournemouth, really, because he was not on that trajectory to come back to a better Premier League club than the one he left. But yeah, he's one of them players, I think.
The new Josh King or Junior Stanislas.
Well, yeah, take Stanislas away. I was convinced he was going to come on in the second half when the board went up. But yeah, take Stanislas out of it now. He's the new one of them. Awful.
Matt Flusk has got tired of hitting 180s on the dartboard. What do you think of that today, mate?
I'm going to hold back on Tarkowski, because I did it all the other week, and yeah, he's had a few good games since then, but so's everyone else around him. I'm just sick of him being the first one to lose his head. He's meant to be the most experienced player in the team, and Bournemouth didn't really have a tap until the penalty, and even then, after the penalty, the rest of the first half, they went all over us like a rash, and then he just gives them a second goal. So give us a mountain to climb. We're in a big hole, make some better for us there, don't care. But yeah, the overall performance, especially second half, you can't really be too angry or frustrated. But I just don't know what it was. Like in the first half, they were just a bit flat, weren't they? And I was pretty much anonymous in the first half. Really good second half. There are good signs there to take forward onto Wednesday. I don't think our opinion of that game should change based on that result. We've got ourselves in a really good position in the league. We're not under any pressure at all. They've got pressure on them. So let's just take it to them.
My dad today was convinced we were holding back for Wednesday. God bless him.
I love the idea that we're not angry, we're disappointed.
I mean, that is different, isn't it? Like, I suppose, like, there were times I was angry in the first half, and it was mainly at Tarkowski, because, like, actually, like, we started all right. Like, the game was quite even. Like, nothing was really happening at all. We were knocking it round, and then I think, like, they just sort of, like, stepped onto us a little bit more, and it was like, right, nothing's happening here. Let's step up 5 yards, and like then we started to panic, and then it was like all the messages we've been told in the last few weeks about keep your heads, like, you're good on the ball, take an extra second, play that extra pass to the midfield, like all that suddenly like stopped being like a good thing for us. We started like to lose our heads a little bit, and like I mean, going to the first goal, I'll come to you first, Dave. Like, apparently it's offside. I'm not seeing it back again. Like, but I'm not going to sit here and moan about it because I don't want VAR. I can't like renege on that now. But I just think the first time we sort of saying this before, like probably the first time I've seen O'Brien just like get caught in between those two positions he's been playing the last few weeks, where like we've been saying, oh, he's a right centre back and a right back, and like it's quite fluid. It doesn't really get to Kirkhead, and then he heads it in, and then obviously the tackle from Tarkowski is ridiculous. But I think like that was the first time that shape's been really compromised over the last few weeks.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. There was a massive gap. I was shouting at, as if I was the manager, I was shouting at Lindstrom to drop back a bit and fill that space, because Semenyo he had too long on the ball. There wasn't enough pressure on him, and Jake O'Brien looked really shaky in that first half, and I've been his biggest fan. I've been wanting him to come back in, to establish himself in the first team. I saw him in that first full 90 he played at Doncaster in the League Cup, and he was absolutely tremendous. Yeah, he looked like he was stuck between the devil and the deep blue sea today. And I get it. I get why Tarkowski sort of went in and lunged it, to try and stop the goal, but it was really, really clumsy. Obviously I jumped up and booed at John Brooks when he called it, and then I sat down and Tom went, absolutely nailed on that, Dan. Absolutely nailed on. So yeah, just frustrating. I feel like we've come so far over the last few weeks, and just kind of digest that, really.
I think the O'Brien thing, I think Lindstrom did have a lot to do with that, because as good as Lindstrom's been the last few weeks, he's really sort of helped with that fluidity of that system. So where O'Brien's looked comfortable at right back, Lindstrom's really helped because he's done a lot of defensive work. I think from early on in the game today, you could see Lindstrom was having one of those days. Like, his confidence had gone completely. There was a couple of times he could have done more with the ball attack, and he didn't. So I think he was having one of those games where his confidence looked a bit shot. And I don't think that helped at all, because then he wasn't doing the work he's been doing since Moyes came in. And I think that was a big issue on the right. And I think if O'Brien was shaky, I'm not making Lindstrom a scapegoat here, but I think if O'Brien's shaky, part of that at least was to do with the fact that Lindstrom wasn't offering him what he has done in the last few games. And ultimately, yeah, that's where that's broken down. But to Matt's point, even if you can see maybe why he launched in, it was rash from Tarkowski. And that's before we get on to the second goal.
Just like, I feel like the one underlying concern about with with O'Brien in that position is like, I almost feel like to play as the right-sided centre-back in the back three, you need to be like a bit of a full-back.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like good teams, and obviously we're playing against one today and we're playing against one on Wednesday, like when you've got to cover those two spaces, like they will exploit that. And I think like to be in a back three, like we've done it sort of all right having the last few games, but like to get the judge those spaces right, like to know when to push out to the left back because you're like stuck in between. Like they're the things that makes those like players who play in those wide positions in the back three really impressive.
At the other end of the pitch as well, Bournemouth obviously did the homework on that side of the game. Other end of the pitch, James Garner wasn't given any space to have time on the ball, to make those runs, play the ball through to Beto. He clearly looked at last week and said, right, that's how they attack, so we're going to break it down. In that regard, they did really well. They shut down any sort of threat we had there. Yeah, they did really well there, but it is, like I said, it is just dead disappointing.
You're not going to see me up on nothing. I just looked up there. That is indeed Jefferson's second ever goal against top flight opposition. So, yeah. And he's not going to get any more, is he?
No.
Let's be honest.
Absolutely not.
Let's be honest. Is there anything more to say, really? Can we have a moan about the refs? Soft as shite.
Well, what were your frustrations with the referee?
Just soft as shite overall, just giving them everything, not booking their lad for the celebration after the penalty.
What did he do?
Like a machine gun thing or something. He was like...
He went right up to the Gladys. Like right over the touchline.
Did you see Ndai having a go at him on the halfway line? And Ndai was basically saying to him, look, I got booked last week. He was having a right go at the referee. I mean, it sounds a petty thing, but
then same lads, not long after, goes down in front of Tarkowski trying to win a free kick at the corner, doesn't he? And the referee's not having it. And then he grabs Tarkowski's legs, he steps over him and pulls him down. And the referee had a little chat with them. Again, no booking. And then he books Ndai for arguing with him near the end there, an absolutely blatant call, and you go, oh no, it's like throw in. Just that was right in front of the linesman as well, and of course the offside. Like you'd think in a game without VAR there'd be a little bit more trigger.
Was it definitely offside?
He looked pretty clear offside, yeah. I think like someone in our group said it was daylight. Like obviously I'm not seeing it back because you never really get a replay for the thing that led up to the penalty. But it's just, I mean, my thoughts on VAR. Like I am all for it because of things like that, and because of things like Man United and John Terry all them years ago. And it's just, would it still been a given if it was flagged? Because he did still foul him. Like, isn't that the rule now? That
it would have been offside. It is offside, wouldn't it then? So like.
Oh no!
I'm
just looking for excuses, to be honest. I just want to dust off that game, forget it ever happened. We were never winning the cup this season. We were going to get the shite in the next round anyway. So
I think Tarkowski's tackle's so bad. Like it's just like I think in that situation when you've got a winger going away from goal on his weaker foot, there's a tight angle. Like trust your really good goalie. Like Pickford's quite a good keeper. Like in that situation, you'd back him to save that shot. Surely, there's no need to dive in. And it's one of them. Like as soon as he went in, it's like there's going to be a penalty straight away. You could just tell, couldn't you? And then arguably even worse, Les, is the second goal where if he's playing out from the back and he gets it like a bit wrong, I don't mind. But that pass doesn't go within 20 yards of one of our players, and they pick it up and they've got so much space because it's such a bad ball.
I mean, this is my whole thing with playing out from the back, and I'm going to sound like old man yelling at cloud here, but second Abe Simpson reference. It's just if you are playing it across the back, just never play it across your box like that.
Well, that wasn't even across the box, was it? It was he's trying to play. I think he's trying to play it out to the wing, and he just totally messes it up.
Play it out. Don't play it out the other wing. Just play it out wide. I mean, he loves that diagonal crossfield ball. He suddenly turns into a prototype Alan Stubbs, who was also shit at it as well. But yeah, it was just a stupid mistake. And at that part in the game, it was we're 1-0 down. They've not been on top at all. It's been quite even. Get to half time. We go in, we regroup, we come out. That second half's a lot easier then. Still an uphill struggle against a decent team at 1-0, but it's within reach. You get one goal back and then it's anyone's game. To go in 2-0 down, having conceded in the 40-odd minutes, it was a terrible mistake. And I don't know, like Matt alluded to before, he's the most experienced player. He's the captain. He should be better than that, and it's not good enough.
Yeah, it's poor all round. They looked, I know I'm repeating myself, or I'm guilty of trying to repeat myself, but they just look really, really flat. He's inviting pressure onto himself for no reason. He should be more experienced for that. I remember him when he was playing for Burnley. I think it was the 3-1 game under Benitez. And he absolutely wrapped his ankles round Richarlison as well. Yeah. And it was just you think at sort of his age and his level of experience, he'd grow out of it. And I just hope hope they learn from it. Matt said, chalk it off and we move on to Wednesday. But there's still some good things as well in that second half. It wasn't all bad, wasn't it?
Onto the second half, Matt. What changed for us to suddenly be the dominant force in that game? Because it was one of them when we had loads of chances and it was weird because we hit the bar the post 3 times in the space of 5 minutes. One from a set piece, one from a fluke cross, one from a chance that O'Brien thinks should have scored. But what do you think it was the sort of change for us in that period?
I don't know. I think there was slight tweaks, wasn't there, with Ndiaye getting more into the game and not hanging about on the wing as much. And I think it was also the crowd. There was that feedback loop between the crowd and the players. A couple more chances. The whole ground lifted a bit. The substitutions helped as well. Fair play to Jack Harrison. Had his critics this season, but I thought from the minute he came on to the end of the game, he was absolutely fine. No, that's like Dan Fraser, isn't it?
He did well. He did do well.
He did really well, yeah. There's that old running joke, isn't it, how he's got the best first touch in the whole Premier League, and then he can't do nothing with it. But he was doing stuff with it today, so fair play to him. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of him and Alcaraz coming on together, because obviously he needs to be on the pitch with Alcaraz because he's the only one in the squad who speaks Spanish. So you can tell he's just been brought on as his translator. But it worked. It nearly paid dividends with that free kick, didn't it? I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more from Alcaraz. I just love the way when he gets the ball, he's like that Danny Rojas from Ted Lasso. He's just like, football is life, just like running around it quick. So, I'd throw him in on Wednesday from the start. Just like, go balls out. I mean, we normally have one rogue selection, don't we, in a derby? Usually it's like a 14-year-old at fullback or something. Let's just go balls out and go for it and say, yeah, Decore out, stick him in there. Who knows? Maybe he can make himself an all-timer. Maybe he can have the final Goodison Park derby named after him.
I think that's a fair shout. I think it was very heartening in the week when Moyes in his press conference said he's played in the Premier League, fitness-wise he's up to speed, so there's no reason to not start him, because notoriously Everton sign a player and we don't see him for 2-3 weeks. So the fact that he's come in today and did well. One interesting thing today about him, he was dropping really deep to get the ball, so he looks like he just wants the ball all the time, like Matt said there. So yeah, I think the signs there were promising. To actually come in on your debut and take a free kick, a direct free kick. And
he really wanted it as well, didn't he?
He did, yeah, because there was about 4 players round that. All want to take it, all have been at the club ages, all older than him. But he took it, and Christ, it was so close. It was such a good free kick. So yeah, I think the signs of him are really promising. And, we give Jack Harrison a shitload of stick, deservedly so, because he's been dreadful. Today he did well. And I'd like to think... I think we mentioned it on a previous pod. I don't know if it was a byline that you and Paddy did, but saying, he kind of gets into double figures, goals and assists each season, more or less. And like this season, he's been nowhere near either. And his confidence is clearly shot. So hopefully, I'm not saying he's got to turn into a world beater, but if he can come on as like an impact sub and just not be completely dysfunctional, that would be good to see.
I loved him. Soon.
Harrison or Alcaraz?
No, Alcaraz. Alcaraz, yeah. I mean, yeah, I've had my moments with Harrison. Normally, when if it's a Premier League game, there's a guy who sits behind me and he hates him. He hates Jack Harrison. He's really critical of him. Yeah. But no, Alcaraz, when they got the free kick, I think it was Alcaraz, Harrison, and they were just stood over the ball.
Garner was there as
Garner. And I went, I don't want any of these 3 taking it. and just proved how wrong I was. That was an absolute whip of a kick. I mean, what a debut that would have been if that had hit the back of the net. But yeah, he's got, like you say, he was dropping deep. He wanted the ball. He looked comfortable on the ball. He looked strong. No one will, certainly nobody on Liverpool's coaching staff will have remembered him from when he was playing at Southampton season 4 last. So I think lobbing him in is just that, that sort of bit of a red herring, really. What damage is it? What damage is he going to do? And so bring it on, Harrison. Yeah. I've seen him play games like that. He's been good on the wing. He's offered product, and it was nice to see it back. I've said before, I like really hard-working players. Give me a hard-working player over a big head any day, and he does work hard. And yeah, I think possibly there's some selection headaches. That's a cliche, isn't it? There's another one. Selection headaches for Moyes for Wednesday night.
Would one of those selection headaches be, do you play Michael Keane or Beto up front?
Wasn't great Beto today, was it?
No. Like I said before, I think they sussed out our plan of attack with Beto. There's only one way to play to him, isn't there? We did hit it long a few times and he's terrible in the air, but I think Liverpool will be wise to that on Wednesday night, but he's the only option we got. But yeah, Michael Keane going up front was a touch at the end, wasn't it?
Would you have brought that Sheriff on instead, though? Like, is it a bit ridiculous for bringing Keane on in this situation?
Yeah, we had this conversation at the game, the fellas around us. Someone was saying, if you've got lads on the bench who are actual strikers and you're bringing on a centre back towards the end of the game, it does nothing for their confidence. I think in a game like that, just bring the young lad on.
It's one of those things managers do, isn't it? As people who aren't involved with football, like the nitty gritty and being around the squad, it's one of those things. Be just get the young lad on, give him a few minutes. Whereas managers who are like fully ingrained in the game and work for these players, like they never ever do that. They always rather go for the senior pro instead.
Yeah, I think to a degree it could be like an ability thing. Now I'm not saying like Michael Keane's a better footballer than like young Sheriff lad, can't remember his first name. But I think the fact that Michael Keane has played at that level before and he knows what he can do. I mean, it sounds stupid, but go with him against a player you don't really know how he performed at that level. As a manager, you will kind of go with what you kind of go with what you know. But in that situation, in an FA Cup game where ultimately it means nothing if we go out 2-0 or 10-0, it doesn't matter at all. You might as well throw the young lad on. I don't really get that. He should have thrown a young lad on and just see. You know, it's like Sheffield United did with Daniel Jefferson all those years ago.
Well, it's not. I was thinking of Steve Watson playing up front and bagging a hat trick against Leeds.
Is that like
Yeah. You know, I feel like it doesn't always work, Davey. It doesn't always work. You know, I agree. I think 20 minutes to go in an FA Cup fourth round tie at home. Just if that's not the time to try and do something different.
Yeah.
You know, and I love Michael Keane. We were talking about it before. You know, I really do. But he wasn't the right option, I don't think. But there is some chemistry with Beto when they get up front. There's something there, but it just didn't come off today.
I mean, that is dangerous chemistry, that, with them two. I mean, that's like get your Hamza suits on and
fatal attraction.
Just like last FA Cup game at Goodison, we just like, are we arsed or like, I don't know. I know you say, Dave, you felt a bit sad about it. Like I don't know, like at least we know how many games we've got left now. That's like the one thing. But I don't know, like I don't want to say I don't care, but it's one of them where it's like kind of shrug your shoulders, but like this team and this club is in no position to win an FA Cup at the moment, is it? Like,
yeah, I think the Goodison thing, I don't think I'm going to be bothered until that Southampton game.
Yeah.
It's like we're going to have the last derby, we're going to have the last game against Man United. Like we're going to have some last big games at Goodison, and I'm not that bothered.
We'll play them all again next year.
Well, exactly, yeah. And I just feel I think now with like the ground's there, and we're probably going to be in the Premier League. Don't want to say definitely, but we will be for it. I'm just excited about going there now, and it sounds horrible, but I'm not that bothered about leaving Goodison. I'll be an absolute bag of shite against Southampton. It'll be so emotional, that game, but until then, I don't think I'm that bothered. So to have that as our last FA Cup game, it's disappointing because we've gone out, obviously, but I don't know, the Goodison thing doesn't really matter to me.
I think Goodison is the end of Everton 1.0, and Bramley Moore it's a completely fresh start for us. And I think there's obviously the derby last year was fantastic, but really over the last 5 seasons, how many humdingers have we seen? And I think the media likes to portray Goodison in a very romanticised way at times, and which I get. But Southampton never had this with when they left the Dell. Everybody was just like wiping their hands of it and just delighted to go because it was old fashioned and it was legacy and I'll miss the walk up to the ground and I'll miss the sights and the smells and stuff like that. But I'm like you, Les. I'm way more excited about next year than about saying goodbye.
Just one thing on Goodison though. It is the world's first purpose-built football stadium, and that should never be like overlooked. And I think one thing for me is, and like the City of Liverpool's got a history of doing this. They knocked down the Cavern and then rebuilt it 3 doors down. They knocked down Nation. The world's first the world's first super club, basically the world's first, and built student gaps on it. I think in years to come that'll be looked at as like, fuck, that was quite a big deal. Should be a bit of a heritage site. I think Goodison should be the same. I mean, I know it's not financially viable to like just leave a football stadium in the middle of Walton on like some sort of prime land, but I do think it's it's too much to just like dismiss it and knock it down as like just another football ground's gone. Because essentially, well, not essentially, literally it was the world's first purpose-built football stadium. And that should actually count for something.
We're not going to get too deep here. Whose decision will that be?
Oh, well, I don't know. Well, the club will sell it and it'll come down, I don't know, to whoever buys it. But I don't know, you know, I saw someone on Twitter say like something about part of it should be listed and like kept forever. Unfortunately, we knocked down all the good bits like the main stand and built the three-tier monstrosity. Going off on a tangent for post-match here, but I do just think there is a lot of history to that ground, like massive history, and to just lose it to, I don't know, a retail park or a fucking supermarket or even the legacy project, it would be a shame. So I mean, that's the only thing that sort of like pangs me about leaving.
Ed McCosh's here now. Ed, sorry, did you not want to come on?
Not really, I didn't go to the game. Go on.
Have you seen any of the game?
I've seen the second goal.
I haven't seen it.
I've been having a lovely time here at the Denby Castle. It's been wonderful.
What was the second goal like in your eyes?
It was a travesty, quite frankly. I imagine we've already covered it, but if I was in a Sunday League team that conceded that goal, I would be devastated. Who was to blame? Yeah. Mostly Tarkowski, as far as I'm concerned.
He's overslating on this tonight, I think.
I was very intrigued to hear what Les was saying. And I think the club has been very mindful about the legacy they want to leave behind with Goodison. So hopefully,
Hope so.
yeah, hopefully they do something that keeps it alive. Not least because it's a community, it's an area that needs Goodison in some sense.
Is the Dementia Village thing not happening now? Or?
No, well, the thing is, there's been no real mention of the legacy project, has there? All the attention's been on like the new ground and building that. And that whole legacy project's kind of been sort of like, I don't know if it's been swept under the carpet, but not been any mention of it. So one maybe Paddy Bowling can pick up.
Maybe the Sandhills Rails are the legacy project. You know.
I think, as Liam said on Mailbag today, take Steve Rotherham's wig and like stretch it out as a tarpaulin for the covering for the Sandhill station.
There we go. Just before we finish up, try and get. I mean, yeah. Derby on Wednesday. How are we feeling about that, Dave? I mean, I'm still pretty relaxed about the whole thing. Like, it would be nice to get a result against them, but if we don't, I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm not arse, but they are really good and we're all right.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to going to the game. I'm looking forward to the experience of it. Classic Evertonian, this or that. So, would I rather lose against Bournemouth in the FA Cup and win a derby? Absolutely, I would.
I'm going to win then on Wednesday.
So, well, you know, I can't even say I've got a feeling in my water. I absolutely had no idea that we were going to pull that performance out of the bag 12 months ago. You know, Liverpool taxi driver said to me when, well, you know, they're not going to like it. They're not going to want to go to Everton on a Wednesday night for that game in hand and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be at the game. I'm going to enjoy it. And, yeah, I just don't want it to be a complete annihilation. I don't want it to be a 5-0 or anything like that. Just, if we lose, we lose. But let's have some dignity, please.
Before we get on to that, I just want to shout out for the Bournemouth fans. 1,500 fans and singing Ali 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 O in the year 2025. 1,500 fans for an FA Cup game. You could have had 6,000 fans in. It's pure tin pot. That's not sour grapes because their team's better than ours.
That would be half their average attendance each week, to be fair.
It would. But I mean, come on. You don't get many. I mean, like, when we get like 8,000 at Old Trafford, we cannot wait to get 8,000 people in Old Trafford.
Like, surely when they know they're playing us, they must all be like, yes, Everton, let's all get up there because it's going to be good.
Exactly, they've beaten us twice this season. They're clearly a better football team than us, as the league position shows. Take 1,500 fans is piss poor. But anyway, they're in the next round, so they probably will be devastated by I've said that. Wednesday night, yeah, let's fucking go for it. We'll do him.
Any thoughts about Wednesday?
I think even in spite of the result today, it was in essence a free hit for us. As much as, you know, we want to win a trophy, we all know the objective is to stay in the Premier League. And when you think about the Premier League form, it's still great. You know, Liverpool have obviously been playing a lot of games. no idea how they line up against Plymouth, but I imagine a few first teamers will be involved in some regard. Hopefully Plymouth really push them and they'll have to bring everyone on. But I feel so much better about it now than I would have done a month ago. A month ago I would have written the game off entirely. But I think for now we can just say, we're a long way clear of the relegation zone. We hate this lot. Let's get into them. I think, I may be wrong on this, but I believe in historical sense we're level with them in terms of Goodison wins. Is that right? I think it's 42 each or something. So hopefully Moyes knows that and can say, you know what, go out there, get that last win. And that's our season done then, and we can be dead happy. The one thing I want in life is that to go to that Southampton game thinking we're on the beach. We can just enjoy the last game at Goodison, we have a great time. That's all I want. So if we can do that, and the players know that as well, they'll want to chill before the summer as well. So let's just get into them and see what happens. It's no loss for us. For them, there's pressure.
Just lastly, from a personal point of view, going out the cup today's kind of rescued my weekend in May. Because I've got that last weekend planned all out. We'll go to Half Man Half Biscuit in Ulverston on the Friday, Supergrass in Manchester on the Saturday, Everton Southampton on the Sunday.
Are we definitely on the Sunday?
I think it is. It's still a Sunday now, yeah. So having an FA Cup final, ruining that.
Don't want to ruin your weekend.
Don't want to ruin my weekend. So do you know what? I'll take the win on that one.
I'm with you there, lads. It's a very significant birthday for me on the Friday. So I've got the whole weekend mapped out, and I want to be able to go to Goodison on the Sunday the 18th of May and smoking the proverbial cigar and taking in the atmosphere. So yeah, I'm with you, brother.
It was no weekend for a cup final, that was
Absolutely
it?
No one could have been arsed for a cup final anyway. That's the overriding message of this podcast.
The level of delusion is so high now, we're saying the defeat's a good thing. Well, in up the toffees. Nice one, lads.
It's basically, I never fancied it anyway.
Well in the cherries. Probably a good way to finish it off here. We'll wrap it up. Cheers to Les, Dave, Matt and Ed. That has been your instant reaction for Everton 0, Bournemouth 2. We'll be back this week, build on to the derby. Blue Monday on Monday, on a byline on Tuesday. And then it's the Merseyside derby on Wednesday night, the last ever one at Goodison Park. Oh my word. Who knows what's going to happen there, but yeah. We'll speak again soon up the top east. Ta-ra.